IFLA is the International Federation of Library Associations. I spoke to Anne Åkesson, guest editor of the special issue of O27.7 on library publishing. Anne is chair of Division D, one of the IFLA's large sections that advances the professional knowledge and skills of its numerous global members. Anne has been active in IFLA over the years as a committee member, chair, and member of the governing board. First, I asked Anne what the issue was all about.
Yeah, David, thank you. Thank you so much for having your journal involved with this publication. As you said, this really comes out of an IFLA meeting and out of our Division D. 4 of our committees, which were Sci-Tech, Acquisitions, Academic Libraries, and Library Publishing, decided to work together to hold a small conference about global openness. And we decided to host this not in Europe or North America, where so many meetings happen, but to do it in Istanbul, in a venue where a lot of librarians can't afford to attend major world congresses. So we were hosted by 2 main universities in Turkey, Koç University and MEF, June 5 to 7, 2024. We attracted a large Turkish contingent and also a number of librarians from surrounding regions. We had 22 talks on global openness, and as you see, about half of our speakers were able to write their talks as papers. When you get the library community together on a topic like this, there's so many initiatives and so many viewpoints, and to hear about them from outside the mainstream of, heavily European and Western countries is really very rewarding. So it was a wonderful collaborative event, and it brought out viewpoints from all over the world about open access.
Then I asked her what we can expect from the articles.
Yeah, well, as I said, there are a number of local, national, regional perspectives that one doesn't normally hear about in the kind of conferences I attend and maybe even you attend. So we had several talks about open access initiatives in Turkey. Not surprising, except that it was a surprise to hear about so many things going on. There's a wonderful paper in there by a library and information science professor in Algeria, Samir Hajani. He made a comparative study of open access in North African libraries. And I don't know that anybody else has ever done this before. It's actually a research piece, and it's a really good one. Our colleague Jelena Bolkovic from Croatia described their emerging open science infrastructure. There were talks from Indonesia, Latin America, and Ukraine about open access there. So it's a very broad range of national and local views and perspectives, and more activity than you could ever imagine.
I also asked Anne what she personally did learn from the articles.
Well, what we always learn when we work together with colleagues from around the world, that first of all, we don't have enough of an idea of what each other is doing, and to make that kind of event happen becomes a very, very rich event. I wanted to mention one more thing. But it's not in your papers. However, it is in the slides from the presentations. We had a case study from Turkey about how the Directory of Open Access Journals spreads its work in different countries of the world by appointing ambassadors, and how they work in the country to make open access known. But this wasn't your question. I think we learned about collegiality, and that you have colleagues as librarians in places that you never dreamed of, and everybody comes together with a common purpose. I was reminded at what it's like to try to organize a conference at distance. It takes a village. We had program committee from different countries. We had the local arrangements people in Istanbul who were fabulous. And we had all kinds of challenges with currency fluctuations, visas, and a lot more. The kinds of things, I guess, IFLC gets with its big Congress, but we had them with the small Congress. We solved all the problems one by one, and we got together, and together we were able to have a very good event. So that's the kind of learning you get, I think, from participating in these collaborative events.
Please find the link to the presentations of the symposium below. The issue is out now. I'm David Refasz, co-editor of O27.7 Journal for Library Culture.